Welcome to this Friday, May the 13th edition of the Pirate Traders live stream. Will there be blood? Actually, I don't really think so. All right, so what are we looking at here today? Well, yesterday counts as excess to the downside. It's not a crystal clear balancing area. Let me just get that drawing tool up and running here. It's not a crystal clear balancing area over here, but this is some balance. So the breakout yesterday would be considered excess to the downside. Two ways to balance off excess to the downside. You can either pull back with price, or you can balance off at lower prices, looking to either break lower or higher from there. It would appear that the overnight has pulled us back up to balance off using price instead of time. I find it very interesting that the overnight literally just made it to the repair of a weak reference we left behind 2 days ago, rather than making it to that big node of volume that you would have thought would be kind of a magnet pulling at price. So the way I see this morning, first order of business is going to be the gap up. Right? Do we fill the gap? Do we pull back down to yesterday's high at 39.62? If so, we look for support there. If we can't fully fill that gap, or we fill the gap and then find support around yesterday's high, either of those scenarios is considered a gap and go, which to me would be good to target the repair of that weak high that we left behind 2 days ago, as well as test that overnight high, which is in the same area. And if we get through that, to head up into this node of volume around 40.18 up here. So that is a gap and go scenario. However, if we don't get a gap and go, if the market pulls down, fills the gap, and then keeps going down into yesterday's range, my first assumption would be balance within the overnight range. So I'd be looking for support right as we pass, or right as we kind of dip into yesterday's value area here. You can see we got that support from the overnight. So if yesterday's high does not hold a support, that would be where I'd be looking for support there to get chop inside of here. If this support breaks, then I'd be looking for a repair of the weak M period low that we left behind yesterday at 38.85. Okay. So essentially, first order business, do we fill the gap? If we get support, looking to repair this weak reference. If we don't, looking to test this support. If that breaks, looking to repair this weak reference. And the market is open. We have a gap up. Do they fill that gap? The gap fill, of course, is targeting 39.62. One way to play a gap is if the market pushes higher and comes back down through the opening price, you can short at the open, putting your stop above whatever the high is that it creates. This is a pretty small gap, so risk-reward wise, probably not going to be a great play, but is one to consider. Good morning, Greg H. Love the Friday the 13th splash. 4 years of film school is worth something. It's so sad, but so true. Good morning, Scooball. Amir, good to see you. The Shaw is here. T-Bay, Cortman, Trading Donkey, Caffeine, David, Bruno, Daniel, Mac Vins, welcome, welcome. Bossman is here. Arcaleon, good to see you. Philip, Eldora, Hustler Forever. John, TV, and Philip, welcome, welcome. Okay, so, we didn't quite pass through the open, but this would be that trade where you short the pass back through the open for the gap fill and put your stop right there, but that's like a 1-to-1 risk reward. Again, when the market backfills that gap, you're looking for support right there at 39.62 as well. J Trader, good morning to you. Xavier, welcome. Cyrus is here. Jose, MW, Overlord, Anita, Jack, Rugsy, Giles, Annis, Mick Stockster, Nicholas, Money Kiddo, and Aaron. Welcome, everyone. John didn't even realize it was Friday the 13th. Neither did I till I noticed that this morning at like 8 a.m. and thought, have some fun, Charles. Be creative for 10 minutes. Being Prosperous and Pavel, welcome to you guys. All right, so that is the gap filled right there. And so we're looking to see, do the buyers step in? If they do, we still got a little bit of a counter auction we'd be looking for here. If they do step in here, that would be bullish as a gap and go. If not, we're looking to pull down towards this 39.30 area, looking for support in there if we cannot find it around yesterday's high. To sign up. People have been asking about you, bro. How you been? He says, morning degenerates, just checking in. David Keene, welcome. Good to see you. All right, well, finding support at yesterday's high and passing back through the open price is bullish as a gap and go. So we are now targeting the repair of that weak reference and testing the overnight high up there at 39.86. And then monitoring for continuation higher from there as a gap and go. It's worth noting we don't have very good taper at the low here. So the market might need to come back down and get some more two-sided trade. But passing back through the open means the next target to the upside is that repair. So they may do that first. I will remain bullish as long as we stay above 39.53. So I'll let them come back down and have one more push lower to try to repair that taper. But the buyers need to step in once again to stay bullish. If we pass through here, we're likely heading down lower. Greg H. said, had a great day yesterday, sailing with the Pirates, 65 points of gain. Yeah, I saw your email. That's pretty awesome, man. Good for you. Now you just got to do it every day from now on. Okay, we got some short-term sellers trying to hold the market down here. Piling on exactly at that 39.80 level. So we got a weak high in terms of that taper at the high and taper at the low. jump over and take a look at the NQ. Okay, not quite as bullish in the fact that they did not open with a gap up. But they did find support inside the overnight range, and it looks like they're heading up to test the overnight high here. Same thing as the ES. If they get through the overnight high, target the next major node of volume above, 12,285-ish. Back to the ES. Okay, more short-term sellers piling on exactly at 39.80. Why does that matter? Why do we care? Well, just because it increases the odds we need some more trade. And what's going to happen to those sellers once we poke through that level should give us a little pop to repair that weak reference. Greg says slow tempo, very slow tempo, but that's good for the bulls. It's not emotional buying. People are waking up this morning. They're feeling optimistic. It's Friday the 13th. They're in a good mood. They know all the crazies are coming out tonight. And they're buying the market. We got 135 people hanging out, only 42 likes. If you don't mind, just pushing that little thumbs up button really helps out the channel. I give you a rundown of what's going through my mind. You give me a little click. Seems like a fair exchange of efforts. Man, there just must be some big orders sitting right here. There we go. Had to grind their way through. Okay, that high might be good for the moment. I would have expected a little more of a pop once we broke through that 80 level. So that's a when what should happens doesn't. And it's good taper beyond that. So it looks like we're heading down looking for support. Getting it right now at halfback. If that fails, testing yesterday's high once again. Okay, so I'm keeping a close eye on this 0 line on the ticks over here. Every time we pass down there, it gets a bump. It gets pushed back up. So that looks like good support. If the 0 line breaks, we'll probably head back down to yesterday's. Oh, well, there you go. So yeah, it looks like halfback held to support. Still targeting the repair of that weak reference at 86. And then testing the overnight high. Waiting for the buyers. Yeah. It's moving slow, but it's moving steady. I still wouldn't really even consider this squeezing these traders yet. There's a very real possibility we may just poke up here and pull right back down. Man, more weak sellers right at yesterday's opening price. They got to get squeezed sooner or later. Okay, so there's a repair of the weak reference. The high is still considered weak because it's right at the overnight. Okay, there's a repair of that weakness. So here's the seller's chance to pile on. If the market continues to find buyers above the overnight high, that would be bullish to head up and test 4018 area. Donkey, did you silence me? No, I didn't silence you. All right, feels like we have ourselves a slow melt up, so I'm looking for a pull back down around this overnight high area. Looking for support right where those sellers were the last time. Resistance becoming support around 84. Hustler forever. Damn, lost my connection. Missed that move. There'll be another one along shortly. There always is. So we're bringing in buyers up here. That is a potential. This is, getting a little ahead of myself, but a potential sign of a trend. If you build support, push higher, and then build support at a higher price rather than pulling back down to retest, that could lead to further momentum. Let's wait and see, though. It doesn't feel very exciting, does it? But buyers finding support at the overnight high. It's bullish. We're just so used to that fast tempo. Robo Futures Trader, data now. Something coming out at 10 a.m. Oh, the University of Michigan sentiment thing. My guess is people are going to be bearish. There it is. Oh, that's pretty bad. Forecast 64, got 59. Oh no. All right, well, we've pulled the value area up to the high of the day and created a little poor high up here. So that increases the odds the market will push away, looking for support, but then come back and repair that poor high, which would create some momentum to the upside. John Lash, what exactly is the University of Michigan data? Honestly, bro, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. It's like a sentiment thing to see if, people are optimistic about the future of the economy. And it used to be a bigger deal, but no, none of that data matters anymore. The market's reactions are completely random. So just look at the chart and see what happens. Okay, there's to repair that poor high. So it's looking like the market wants to head up into that 4018 area where we've spent so much time and brought in so much volume. This week, that'll be like a little magnet tugging at price. Hey, let's just head up here and test this once more. We've been doing a lot of business up here. Let's do a little more. So we could be looking at a balancing day inside this range, right? We've spent a lot of time bouncing around in here. Or a trend day if we continue to push higher, if we get through this resistance and then it becomes support. Gunk, very random unless you're Citadel. Scoop all lots of shorts to be squeezed? Yes, sir. There's a few. It's worth noting that a gap and go is a bullish signal. Particularly after a day with so much momentum to the downside yesterday. It's a sign that those sellers have cooled off. Cajun Trader says timber. I assume you mean you're looking for a pullback? Pull back into support. Pull back into support. Nunez, ever traded Hakanashi candles? Yeah, I love Hakanashi. I've talked about that here before. I don't find them very useful for getting into trades, but they're great for keeping you in a trade. You can trust the trend will keep going if those Hakanashis haven't changed color yet. Chitin says he thinks 5% up day today on the ES. I don't know. Like I said, would I be shocked at all to see more balance inside this range? Not even a little bit. Market pushes up into here. Gets some resistance, comes back down, gets some support. Just does that dance. But we'll see. Nilesh, good morning to you. Welcome. Okay, so we're seeing for the second time in a row. This morning, the market came down, found support at yesterday's high. That is bullish. Pushed higher, built volume. Pushed higher, built volume. Pushed higher, it's doing it again. That is a signal of a trend, right? The buyers are so anxious to get long. They're so eager to FOMO in up here. They're not even letting the market pull back down and test previous support, same as they did, earlier. So that is a little bit bullish to see. Right in the face. Chris, what is the first major resistance? Well, this entire node that's right above us is going to be resistance. This whole area right here. That will take some work to get through. McStockster says, I'm waiting till we get up to the top of the recent range, the 40-50s. Want to deploy a few shorts on my long-term portfolio just in case the chop goes on for months. A little insurance policy for the long-term portfolio. We got 140 people hanging out. We only got 89 likes. I wonder if we can get to 100 likes. I wonder if there's 11 people out there watching right now who have not yet pushed that thumbs up button that are thinking to themselves, I could do that. I could make that happen. Oh, 99. Is there one? There it is. Thank you guys so much. All right, well, we got good taper at the high, and we're getting resistance right as we push into that volume above. So looking for support once again, and another poke. It's going to take some grinding to get through this resistance here. Warren, do I use ATR? I do not. Somebody should take this chart right here, this chart showing the Michigan Sentiment Index, and put it against the S&P 500. I bet you all these lows are the lows in the index too. Okay, more taper at the high. So we have run out of buyers. Market will need to pull back a bit more, looking for support. Probably around 92-ish. Scott says losing steam. Yeah, I don't know. Is it losing steam or is it building? Is it just powering up for a big push? I can't tell. Is this that spring just getting wound tighter and tighter and tighter so that I can get through all this resistance? All right, it looks like it is buyers. They want to get a little short squeeze, get a little pop. Scott, I noticed you haven't had a balanced day with likes yet. Want me to take the opposite side? No, we want to keep the likes trending higher, bro. We don't need no balance. It is funny though, like we've joked about that in the past here, but there is something to that. There are times where like the channel gets like growth, where more and more people are showing up and it's getting bigger and bigger. And there are times where it kind of just stops for a little bit and it flatlines and then it starts up again and then it flatlines. Balance and excess in all things. That is how the universe works. If you want the beautiful fall and the beautiful spring, you got to have the harsh winter and the harsh summer. Arthur says bears are ready to pounce. I would say the opposite. I would say bears are getting hurt today. They keep pouncing and getting nothing for it. I mean, look at those ticks. Every single time the sellers have tried to take the market lower, there were buyers waiting Try to take a lower weighting. Try to take a lower weighting. Try to take a lower weighting. So I would say if anybody's getting ready to give up on their bias, it would be the bears. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the short squeeze they had to work so hard for. I think it's going to be a very, very grindy, slow melt up. And I do think we're probably going to run out of steam as we get to the upper end of the range up here in the 40-45 area. But that's just me with my crystal ball making a guess. Right now, momentum is to the upside. Anita, I got my 410. There's always more. I've learned the hard way to take the points and wait or stop. Yep, if you had a plan to get out at 4010, nothing wrong with that. take your profits, wait for a pullback to get back in once again. Sticking to the plan is the important thing. Daniel, how's the NQ doing? Let's take a look. Very, very similar to the ES. Pushing back up into this previous 3-day balance. They are through the big node of resistance. So there's really very little resistance between where they are now and testing these 12,500 levels. So I would say the Q is bullish. Seven-mile reach. I have one runner, and the plan is to hold it as long as possible. Well, that's another plan. There you go. Take partial profits, hold on to a runner, see what you can squeeze out of that one. Cortman says, I would think long-term buyers saw that 50% retracement on the NQ as a buying opportunity. Yeah, but those same buyers would also have orders down at the 618. Those would be bigger players laddering in on a larger type of time frame. So this could always just be a dead cat bounce type of day. You know, a bullish day in a downtrend. But we won't worry about that for the moment. The buyers are in control. We'll see how far they can push it. All right, well, we're getting ready to switch over to the private stream here. All right, so I got lots of links to share with you guys on this spooky Friday the 13th. The first link I am posting in the comments right now, that is a podcast that I recorded a few months ago with a guy named Corbs, who's just another YouTuber who does a volume profile. So that is premiering today at noon in 2 hours, or I guess in an hour, 2.5 hours. Sorry, 1.5 hours. I'm good at math. So if you want to check that out, that would be cool. Love to see what you think in the comments. It's my first time ever doing any kind of collaboration. So I just love any feedback you guys leave in the comments there on that video. Also, you will see, if you look in the description below this video, you will see the first link there is for the e-course. If you've been watching these daily videos and you find something interesting in this matrix-esque looking profile here, and you hear me talking about the buyers and the sellers, and you know, they're building volume and pushing higher, and you know, they're not giving the or the buyers are buying, you know, every little pullback, and that's strong, and so on and so forth. If all these concepts are kind of confusing and you're having a hard time understanding, I recommend checking out that e-course, which is the first link in the description below. It costs like $100, but it's worth it because it'll teach you how the two-way auction works, and you'll be able to get a lot more out of these live streams that I do. So something else to consider if you got nothing better going on this weekend. Check out the e-course. So, podcast, e-course, you got plenty to do this weekend. Thank you guys so very much, and I look forward to seeing you here on Monday morning. Have a good rest of your day. Before I leave, I will just say, leaving these single prints behind in the B period does increase the odds the market will want to, at some point today, come down and backfill those single prints, and we will look for support right there at 39.96.